It's a regular Tuesday morning in New York City. The streets are filled with honking horns, yellow cabs weaving through traffic, delivery trucks rumbling past, and commuters rushing to work. But something feels different. At 7:30 a.m., Emma Rodriguez, a barista in Brooklyn, steps outside her apartment to grab her morning coffee. The city that never sleeps is eerily quiet. She pauses, confused. No honking, no rumbling engines, no tires screeching. Only footsteps. Birds chirping. The distant sound of a subway train underground. Emma frowns and pulls out her phone. Headlines scroll across her news feed. Massive traffic disruption? Government investigating vehicle disappearance. Cars vanish from cities overnight, public in shock. Her heart pounds. At first, she thinks it's a prank, but the photos are real. Empty streets, abandoned parking lots, and highways devoid of any vehicles. Not a single car. Not one. Across Chicago, delivery driver Mike Chen stands outside his apartment, staring at the empty street where his delivery van used to sit. He rubs his eyes, thinking he's dreaming. His phone buzzes non-stop with messages from coworkers and friends. Where's my car? How do I get to work? I can't believe this. In Los Angeles, traffic cameras show normally congested freeways completely empty. The city that thrives on car culture is now silent. Electric scooters and bicycles are scattered across sidewalks, their owners confused, unsure what to do next. By 8 a.m., panic begins to set in. Commuters who rely on cars are stranded. Ride-hailing apps crash under sudden demand. Public transportation is overwhelmed. Subway stations in New York fill beyond capacity as everyone who normally drives attempts to take trains. Bus stops see lines stretching for blocks. Small businesses that rely on car deliveries, restaurants, grocery stores, supply chains, face immediate disruption. In Seattle, a bakery run by Maria Santos cannot receive flour shipments. In Houston, construction projects stall because trucks carrying materials have vanished. Meanwhile, city authorities are scrambling. Police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances are gone too. Emergency response teams are forced to improvise, using bicycles and motorcycles to reach urgent situations. Hospitals prepare for delayed emergency services. Emma Rodriguez decides to walk to her cafe, a journey that usually takes 15 minutes by car. It takes her 45 minutes. Along the way, she notices neighbors pulling carts, carrying groceries, and even pushing bicycles loaded with children. People are improvising in ways she has never seen before. Mike Chen in Chicago is forced to walk 5 miles to his office, dodging crowds of other stranded commuters. Along the way, he notices something strange. The absence of cars has made the city feel breathable. Air smells cleaner. The streets are quieter. People talk to each other instead of shouting over traffic noise. In Miami, a single mother, Patricia Williams, realizes she cannot drop her children off at school because the bus system is overloaded. She starts thinking creatively. Carpool networks, neighborhood walking groups, and temporary shuttle services spring up organically. By mid-morning, environmental scientists notice immediate changes. Air quality sensors in Los Angeles report a 40% reduction in harmful emissions. Nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide levels plummet. Skies appear clearer than they have in decades. In Beijing, news agencies note similar effects, reporting that urban skies are astonishingly blue. City planners and policymakers begin to grasp the scale of the situation. Some see disaster, others see opportunity. Without cars, cities are forced to rethink traffic flow, public transport capacity, and urban planning entirely. The overnight disappearance has given humanity a sudden glimpse of what urban life could be without constant automotive noise and pollution. Across the country, people begin sharing stories. Tweets and videos flood social media showing abandoned streets, empty parking garages, and citizens walking freely in spaces previously occupied by endless traffic. Even children notice the sudden quiet. In Los Angeles, 8-year-old Marcus stops playing outside and looks up at the sky. "Mom, it's so blue." By afternoon, the reality sinks in. People are improvising ways to move goods, reach work, and navigate their cities. Cyclists carry groceries across town, neighbors organize walking groups, and temporary shuttle systems emerge. The American car-centric way of life is gone, and society begins adapting on the fly. Families discover unexpected benefits. Conversations at dinner are less rushed because parents are walking together instead of driving separately. Children play outside without worrying about cars speeding down the street. The streets that were once congested and chaotic feel open and safe. By evening, a strange calm has settled over the cities. While the disappearance of cars has caused immense logistical challenges, it has also shown citizens a glimpse of a different, quieter, cleaner, and slower-paced urban life. People are beginning to realize that while the adjustment will be difficult, there is a new possibility emerging. One where streets belong to people, not vehicles. Across New York, small parks and plazas are filled with pedestrians, street performers, and families enjoying open spaces once claimed by parking lots and traffic lanes. In Chicago, cyclists create spontaneous lanes on the wide streets while groups of neighbors walk together, sharing stories and food. The cities are alive in a new way, and citizens feel a mix of awe and uncertainty. Evening news anchors struggle to report the situation accurately. Analysts speculate about economic disruptions, emergency responses, and supply chain problems. Yet the underlying story remains human. People adjusting, improvising, and finding new ways to live without the presence of cars. In San Francisco, software engineer David Kim walks past the normally packed downtown streets. He takes a deep breath and smiles. The absence of vehicles has cleared the fog of smog that usually hovers over the city. He thinks about biking to work the next day and maybe even spending more time outside. It feels surreal, almost like a city reborn. By nightfall, across all major cities, citizens begin to recognize one undeniable truth. Life without cars is challenging, yes, but also revealing. Streets once dominated by steel and exhaust now belong to people, communities, and nature. The first day ends with a mixture of chaos, adaptation, and a hint of hope for what urban life might become in this unexpected, carless world. The morning after the disappearance, the effects are becoming impossible to ignore. Emma Rodriguez wakes up in her small Brooklyn apartment to the soft sound of children playing outside instead of the usual roar of traffic. She feels a strange mix of relief and anxiety. The streets are still empty of cars, but the city has not stopped moving. People are improvising. Emma dresses quickly and steps outside to see neighbors walking together, sharing bicycles, and even pushing makeshift carts to carry groceries. Some are holding small meetings on sidewalks, trying to coordinate how to reach workplaces or schools. The city feels almost like a village for the first time in decades. The usual separation of people by car is gone, replaced by direct interaction and collaboration. In Chicago, Mike Chin continues his trek to work. Today he notices how many small businesses are struggling. Grocery stores can no longer receive shipments on time, and restaurants are running low on supplies. Yet he also sees creativity in action. People are sharing rides with cargo bikes, neighbors organize local delivery chains, and social media is flooded with posts connecting volunteers with those in need. Mike realizes that while society is challenged, a new form of community is emerging. Public transportation systems are under immense pressure. Subway trains in New York are overcrowded, and buses are packed beyond capacity. Transit authorities are scrambling to add temporary services, using whatever vehicles are still functional, such as trams, bicycles, and scooters. People are forming informal groups, walking together to reduce congestion and ensure safety. Communities are learning quickly to navigate without the personal vehicles they once relied on. The environmental impact becomes impossible to ignore. Air quality readings in major cities are drastically improved. In Los Angeles, the absence of cars has led to a noticeable drop in smog, and the skyline is now visible from locations that have been obscured for decades. Birds are returning to urban areas, and pedestrians notice the increased sound of nature. Environmental scientists report the cleanest air in decades, calling it a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. In Miami, Patricia Williams faces challenges in managing her household and children without cars. The neighborhood has organized informal walking routes to schools, and residents have begun to share bicycles and electric scooters. While some parents express frustration, many others embrace the slower pace, discovering opportunities to engage with neighbors and strengthen local communities. By mid-morning, government officials are holding emergency meetings. Transportation departments are overwhelmed, police departments are improvising patrols on bicycles, and fire services are finding new ways to respond to emergencies without traditional vehicles. Urban planners begin to see a rare opportunity to rethink city design, envisioning streets that prioritize pedestrians, cyclists, and public transport rather than cars. Emma arrives at her cafe after 45 minutes of walking. She notices the line outside is longer than usual, but the atmosphere is calmer. Patrons are discussing the disappearance of cars, sharing news updates, and helping one another figure out how to navigate the city. Conversations are deeper, more personal, and focused on practical solutions rather than the usual complaints about traffic. For the first time, Emma feels a sense of connection with the people around her. In Chicago, Mike Chen finally reaches his office after walking 5 miles. He notices colleagues discussing supply chain problems and brainstorming ways to deliver products without trucks. The city's economic systems are straining, but there is also an energy of innovation and problem solving. Employees are forming teams, coordinating logistics, and developing new methods to keep the city functioning. The absence of cars has forced people to confront problems they previously ignored, and creativity is flourishing under pressure. Social media continues to reflect the duality of this new reality. Posts range from expressions of frustration about disrupted commutes to admiration for newfound community collaboration. Viral videos show children riding bicycles on streets once dominated by vehicles, neighbors organizing walking groups, and pop-up markets emerging in empty parking lots. Across the nation, people are beginning to share not only challenges but also solutions. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles to work for the first time in years. He notices how much easier it is to navigate the city without cars blocking intersections and dominating road space. He passes families walking together, neighbors chatting on sidewalks, and even street performers taking advantage of open spaces. The city is becoming more human, more connected, and more alive in ways that were unimaginable just 1 day ago. By afternoon, delivery systems are stabilizing through cooperation. Community volunteers are helping transport goods, and informal networks have emerged to ensure food, medicine, and essential items reach those who need them. In Houston, construction teams improvise ways to move materials without trucks, using bicycles, carts, and temporary rail systems. Business owners are learning to adapt, finding innovative solutions to continue operations despite the absence of cars. Environmental experts are astonished at the speed of change. Reduced emissions, cleaner air, and a drop in noise pollution have immediate effects on human health. Hospitals report fewer cases of respiratory problems and reduced stress levels among patients. Citizens notice improvements in their own health, from easier breathing during outdoor activities to a calmer, quieter urban environment. Emma Rodriguez observes small but meaningful changes throughout the day. Pedestrians are no longer invisible in the urban landscape. Children play safely on sidewalks and in streets that were previously too dangerous for them. Neighborhoods are rediscovering the value of walking and direct interaction. Community ties are strengthened, and citizens begin to question whether the old car-dependent lifestyle is necessary or desirable. Evening news broadcasts attempt to summarize the impact. Analysts discuss economic consequences, transportation challenges, and environmental benefits. Experts debate the long-term implications of a sudden absence of cars, but all agree on one point: this unexpected event has forced cities and citizens to rethink what urban life can look like. People are adapting, innovating, and imagining a future that prioritizes human interaction, health, and sustainability over convenience and speed. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the day. Without cars, her neighborhood feels calmer, safer, and more connected. Children play outside, neighbors exchange greetings, and even routine tasks such as grocery shopping become opportunities for social interaction. She realizes that while there are logistical challenges, the overall quality of life is improving in ways she never anticipated. As night falls, cities across America are filled with an unusual quiet. The absence of engines, horns, and constant traffic noise has created a new soundscape: laughter, conversation, footsteps, and the gentle rustle of trees and leaves. Citizens are beginning to see the potential benefits of a world without cars. While the initial chaos has forced adaptation, the human ability to collaborate, innovate, and connect has created a new kind of urban life. The first full day without cars has revealed the dual nature of this transformation. On one hand, disruption, frustration, and logistical challenges remain. On the other hand, communities are thriving, the environment is recovering, and human connections are strengthening. People are beginning to imagine a future in which cities are safer, cleaner, and more human-centric. By the end of the day, a quiet optimism settles over the cities. Citizens have faced their first full day without cars and survived. More than that, they have discovered new possibilities for living, moving, and interacting in urban spaces. Streets that were once dominated by vehicles now belong to people, and the first seeds of a new urban culture are taking root. The second morning without cars dawns with a quiet tension in cities across the nation. For Emma Rodriguez in Brooklyn, the streets are calm but crowded with pedestrians and cyclists trying to establish routines. Commuters have adapted to walking, sharing bicycles, or using improvised carts, but challenges remain. Everyone seems to be moving slower, talking more, and noticing the city in a way they never had before. Emma takes her usual route to the cafe, noticing small groups forming along the sidewalks. People are discussing schedules, sharing tips on which routes are fastest on foot, and exchanging bicycles or scooters. Conversations that never happened in the past are now common. Neighbors, who once passed each other without a glance in cars, are exchanging greetings, giving directions, and even helping carry groceries or packages. A sense of camaraderie begins to emerge as the shared experience of navigating a carless city fosters connection. In Chicago, Mike Chin begins his day by walking to a temporary shuttle stop organized by volunteers. The improvised system uses cargo bikes and small vans that mysteriously remain functional, ferrying passengers along essential routes. Mike notices the streets are cleaner and quieter. Shopkeepers have moved displays outside to attract pedestrians, and local businesses are benefiting from increased foot traffic. The city is beginning to function in a new, slower rhythm, but it is not without its challenges. Public transportation continues to strain under unprecedented demand. Subways, trams, and buses are packed beyond capacity. Some people wait for over an hour just to board a train. Authorities are attempting to increase service by adding more cars and extending schedules, but infrastructure that relied on cars for efficiency is struggling to keep up. Yet, in the midst of chaos, citizens display creativity. Walking groups, bicycle convoys, and shared transportation hubs emerge spontaneously to help move people and goods more efficiently. Emma arrives at her cafe, exhausted from the longer journey, but notices the increased customer flow. Patrons are engaging in conversations about the carless streets, sharing advice and stories of how they managed to get to work, school, or essential services. The atmosphere is lively and collaborative, a stark contrast to the rush and impatience that characterized pre-car city life. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles to work and witnesses neighborhoods adapting in unique ways. Street corners, once congested with parked cars, are now small marketplaces. Residents sell homemade food, crafts, and essentials. Local musicians take advantage of the open spaces to perform, drawing crowds and creating a lively urban culture that was previously hidden beneath the hum of traffic. People are discovering how streets can be repurposed for community rather than vehicles. Environmental benefits continue to emerge. Cities report record low levels of air pollution, and residents notice immediate improvements in their health. Respiratory problems decrease, and stress levels drop due to the absence of noise pollution. Scientists are documenting the phenomenon, calling it a rare and unplanned experiment in urban ecology and sustainability. Even small children notice the difference, breathing deeply during outdoor play and observing wildlife returning to areas previously dominated by cars. In Miami, Patricia Williams faces the logistical reality of raising children without a car. Her neighborhood organizes walking school buses, where parents and volunteers escort groups of children on foot safely. Grocery shopping requires careful planning, with families sharing trips and pooling resources. While the adjustments are challenging, there is a growing sense of empowerment and community. Neighbors are forming relationships that were impossible when everyone relied on individual vehicles. By mid-morning, local governments are implementing emergency measures. Police patrols on bicycles and scooters maintain order, while fire departments experiment with using small, mobile units for emergencies. City planners and urban designers begin to rethink zoning laws, parking spaces, and pedestrian pathways. The sudden disappearance of cars forces a reimagining of urban spaces on a scale never considered before. Emma notices subtle cultural shifts in the cafe as well. Customers linger longer, talk about sustainability, and share observations about the quiet streets. People discuss alternative commuting strategies, the importance of walking and cycling, and the ways life feels calmer and more connected without cars. Social dynamics shift as human interaction replaces solitary car rides. Mike Chin observes similar changes in Chicago. Colleagues at his office discuss forming volunteer delivery networks to help businesses continue operating. Communities are collaborating in ways they never had before. Local economies, while initially disrupted, are showing resilience and adaptability. Citizens are developing a new understanding of urban logistics and resource sharing. Social media continues to be a reflection of both challenge and opportunity. Viral posts depict empty highways, families walking together, cyclists navigating streets, and makeshift markets. Citizens share tips, offer rides, and coordinate resources. The national conversation begins to shift from panic to problem-solving, creativity, and observation of the unexpected benefits of a carless society. By afternoon, the economic impact becomes more visible. Some sectors, like delivery services, ride-hailing, and parking-dependent businesses, face temporary collapse. Others, like local markets, bicycle repair shops, and pedestrian-friendly retail, thrive. Entrepreneurs quickly pivot to adapt to new realities, offering solutions to navigate without cars. People begin to realize that innovation is not only necessary but also rewarding in the new urban landscape. Emma walks home at the end of the day, reflecting on how much the city has changed in just 2 days. Streets feel safer, air smells cleaner, and the constant stress of commuting has diminished. Children play outside without fear of speeding vehicles. Pedestrians move with freedom and purpose. She begins to imagine long-term possibilities: more public spaces, community events in empty streets, and a city that prioritizes human connection over convenience. David Kim in Los Angeles observes similar changes. The absence of cars has led to a surge in cycling, walking, and outdoor activities. Local businesses are thriving with increased pedestrian traffic, and citizens report feeling more connected to their neighborhoods. The city, once dominated by vehicles, is learning to function in a more human-centered way. As evening falls, Emma and her neighbors gather to discuss solutions for the following day. They form walking groups, share bicycles, and plan collaborative routes to work, school, and markets. The city is no longer solely defined by car lanes and parking spaces. It is defined by people, relationships, and creativity. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the rapid changes. Neighborhoods have become more interconnected, with parents supervising children on walking routes, volunteers helping distribute goods, and communities improvising transportation systems. The disappearance of cars has forced everyone to rethink priorities and rediscover the value of cooperation. Night settles across the country and cities are quieter, cleaner, and strangely vibrant. Streets are filled with conversations, laughter, and footsteps instead of engines and horns. People have survived a second full day without cars and in many ways are thriving. Citizens begin to see that while life without vehicles is challenging, it also reveals new opportunities for connection, sustainability, and urban revitalization. The first 2 days without cars demonstrate both disruption and resilience. Cities are adapting, communities are collaborating, and individuals are discovering unexpected benefits. The absence of vehicles has forced society to rethink mobility, urban design, and the very nature of daily life. The human capacity for adaptation, creativity, and cooperation is being tested, and is responding remarkably well. By the end of the second day, a new rhythm emerges. Life is slower, more intentional, and more communal. Citizens are beginning to imagine what long-term urban life could look like without cars, and the possibilities are both exciting and challenging. The foundations of a new urban culture are forming, built on human connection, innovation, and a shared experience of navigating a world without vehicles. The third morning without cars begins with a sense of cautious optimism in many cities. For Emma Rodriguez, Brooklyn streets are already busy with pedestrians, cyclists, and improvised delivery carts. The novelty of the carless streets has worn off slightly, replaced by routine and the practical challenges of navigating a city designed for vehicles. Yet, there is a growing sense of community and collaboration among residents. Emma steps outside at 7:15 a.m. to head to her cafe. She notices groups of neighbors walking together, sharing bikes and coordinating deliveries. Conversations flow freely, and strangers exchange advice on the best routes to avoid congestion on foot or by bicycle. Children skip along sidewalks, accompanied by parents who previously would have driven them to school. The city feels alive in a new human-centered way. In Chicago, Mike Chin begins another long walk to work, observing how the city is adapting. Streets once dominated by cars now host impromptu marketplaces, food stalls, and local musicians. People have reclaimed public space for social interaction, exercise, and recreation. Even those initially frustrated by the disappearance of cars are discovering unexpected benefits: quieter streets, safer neighborhoods, and a slower, more intentional pace of life. Public transportation remains overwhelmed, but creative solutions are emerging. Subways run longer hours, trams have been repurposed for cargo, and volunteers organize walking convoys to ensure everyone reaches their destination. Citizens develop a new awareness of urban logistics, learning to cooperate, share resources, and plan travel carefully. The shared experience of navigating a carless city fosters empathy and collaboration on an unprecedented scale. Emma reaches her cafe after 40 minutes of walking and notices the increased customer flow. The cafe has become a hub for discussion and information sharing. Patrons talk about alternative commuting strategies, community initiatives, and new ways to support local businesses. Conversations focus less on complaints and more on solutions, demonstrating how humans adapt quickly under pressure when their environment changes drastically. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles to work, passing streets filled with pedestrians and pop-up markets. Businesses adapt to increased foot traffic, offering goods and services in ways that were previously unthinkable. Street performers, musicians, and artists take advantage of open spaces, creating a vibrant urban culture. Citizens begin to see the streets as public spaces for interaction rather than simply corridors for vehicles. Environmental improvements continue. Air quality readings in major cities show record low levels of pollutants. Residents report improved respiratory health, lower stress levels, and enhanced mental clarity. Scientists note that even short-term exposure to cleaner air has measurable benefits on health and well-being. Citizens are beginning to appreciate the immediate, tangible effects of the absence of cars. In Miami, Patricia Williams coordinates with neighbors to manage household logistics. Walking school buses, shared bicycle networks, and improvised delivery systems are becoming routine. While the disappearance of cars initially caused disruption, communities are discovering the advantages of relying on local, human-powered transportation. Relationships strengthen, trust grows, and neighborhoods become more resilient in the face of change. By mid-morning, local governments implement additional measures to maintain order and efficiency. Police patrols on bicycles manage traffic flow for pedestrians and cyclists. Fire departments experiment with using compact, mobile response units for emergencies. City planners and engineers begin long-term discussions about redesigning urban infrastructure to prioritize human mobility, sustainability, and community spaces over vehicular traffic. Emma observes subtle cultural shifts in her cafe. Customers linger longer, share advice, and discuss new ways to navigate the city. The absence of cars has changed the pace of urban life, allowing people to interact more meaningfully. Friendships form spontaneously as neighbors meet during walks, shared errands, and bicycle commutes. Community ties strengthen in ways that were impossible in a car-centric world. Mike Chin notices similar patterns in Chicago. Colleagues and neighbors collaborate to develop local delivery networks, helping businesses continue operating despite logistical challenges. Shared resources, from bicycles to carts, foster a sense of interdependence and mutual aid. Citizens develop problem-solving skills rapidly, adjusting to a new reality with resilience and creativity. Social media reflects a mix of challenges and opportunities. Posts show empty highways, families walking together, cyclists navigating streets, and pop-up markets in abandoned parking lots. Citizens share advice, coordinate logistics, and celebrate successes in adapting to life without cars. The national conversation shifts from panic to innovation, cooperation, and community building. Economic impacts are increasingly visible. Industries dependent on cars, ride-hailing, car repair, parking, and automotive sales, suffer immediate losses. Conversely, local retail, bicycle repair shops, pedestrian-oriented businesses, and small-scale delivery services thrive. Entrepreneurs quickly pivot to meet new needs, offering solutions for goods, mobility, and services in a carless urban landscape. Emma walks home in the evening, reflecting on the city's transformation. Streets feel safer, the air is cleaner, and the pace of life has slowed in a positive way. Children play outdoors without fear, neighbors share resources and information, and a new rhythm of urban life emerges. Emma begins imagining long-term changes. More public spaces, events in streets, and neighborhoods that prioritize human interaction over vehicles. David Kim in Los Angeles observes the long-term potential. Cycling has increased, walking is more common, and local businesses thrive on pedestrian traffic. The absence of cars has revealed the possibilities of urban life designed for people rather than vehicles. Citizens start to reconsider the convenience of cars versus the benefits of community, health, and shared public spaces. By evening, communities across the country are forming informal networks. Residents share bicycles, organize walking groups, and plan cooperative errands. Streets that were once dominated by traffic are now alive with human activity, social interaction, and creativity. The first 3 days without cars demonstrate both disruption and adaptation, showing how quickly society can reorganize when necessity demands it. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the evolving dynamics. Neighborhoods have become more interconnected, volunteer networks facilitate transportation and delivery, and citizens take on responsibilities previously managed by cars. The disappearance of vehicles has forced residents to reconsider priorities, rediscover local resources, and strengthen communal bonds. Nightfall brings calm and reflection. The streets, once filled with engines and horns, are now quiet but alive with human activity. Conversations, footsteps, and laughter replace noise pollution. Citizens begin to appreciate the benefits of a carless environment: cleaner air, safer streets, and stronger communities. The third day proves that humans are not only capable of adapting but can thrive when forced to embrace new ways of living. The early days without cars illustrate a profound transformation. While initial disruption created challenges, the human response demonstrates resilience, ingenuity, and a renewed focus on community. Streets are no longer dominated by vehicles; they belong to people. Citizens are discovering that life without cars is not just a logistical challenge. It is an opportunity for a healthier, more connected, and more sustainable urban existence. By the end of the third day, a pattern begins to emerge. Communities are stabilizing, neighborhoods are collaborating, and citizens are learning to navigate the new reality. The first signs of a human-centered urban culture are taking shape, promising long-term changes in mobility, social interaction, and city design. Citizens are not only surviving but are actively shaping the future of their cities in a world without cars. The fourth day without cars dawns with a sense of cautious routine. Emma Rodriguez steps outside her Brooklyn apartment at 7 a.m., noticing that while the novelty has faded, people have begun to establish daily patterns. Walking groups form naturally, and makeshift bicycle lanes have been mapped out by residents to keep traffic flowing safely. The city feels alive in a different way, quieter, cleaner, and more connected. Emma carries a small bag with essentials, as her cafe is now 45 minutes away by foot. Along the way, she observes neighbors improvising solutions for the challenges of daily life. Parents escort children on foot to schools, workers share bicycles, and volunteers coordinate deliveries for those unable to travel long distances. The absence of cars has forced a new kind of collaboration. People are learning to depend on each other, creating connections that were impossible before. In Chicago, Mike Chin has adapted to his 5-mile commute by organizing a walking convoy with colleagues. Each morning, they leave at the same time, helping each other navigate the city efficiently. Along the way, they notice new public spaces emerging where vehicles once dominated: pop-up parks, markets, and community gathering spots. Residents are reclaiming streets for human use, and the city begins to feel more like a living neighborhood than a congested machine. Public transportation continues to struggle, but citizens innovate to meet demand. Subway cars are packed, buses run at maximum capacity, and temporary shuttles operate along key routes. Walking convoys, cargo bikes, and shared resources supplement formal transit. Communities develop informal schedules to reduce overcrowding and ensure essential trips are prioritized. People are learning the value of cooperation in ways they never considered when cars dominated urban life. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles to work, weaving between streets now open to pedestrians and cyclists. The city hums with a new energy: street performers, local markets, and families enjoying open spaces. Businesses adapt quickly, offering services to people on foot or bike. Citizens begin to see streets not as mere channels for vehicles but as vibrant public spaces. Neighborhoods flourish as human connection replaces the isolation of car travel. Environmental improvements continue. Air quality remains dramatically better, noise pollution has plummeted, and citizens report feeling healthier and less stressed. Medical professionals note fewer respiratory complaints and improved mental well-being. People who were previously unaware of the environmental impact of vehicles begin to appreciate the tangible benefits of cleaner air and quieter streets. Children notice the difference, playing safely outdoors and enjoying a more natural urban environment. In Miami, Patricia Williams faces the ongoing challenge of managing her family without a car. She relies on walking groups, shared bicycles, and informal community delivery networks. Initially stressful, these systems are gradually becoming routine. Neighborhoods have developed schedules, safety protocols, and cooperative strategies to ensure everyone can reach work, school, and essential services. The disappearance of cars has fostered stronger local networks and a heightened sense of community responsibility. By mid-morning, local governments and city planners continue to adapt. Emergency services patrol on bicycles and scooters, fire departments experiment with mobile response units, and traffic management shifts focus from vehicles to pedestrians and cyclists. Urban designers begin envisioning long-term transformations, imagining streets designed for people rather than cars. Infrastructure is reconsidered, including public spaces, walking lanes, and bicycle paths, with sustainability as a guiding principle. Emma arrives at her cafe, noticing that it has become a hub for coordination and community discussion. Patrons share information about routes, neighborhood events, and ways to support local businesses. The absence of cars has slowed daily life, allowing citizens to engage more meaningfully with their surroundings. Friendships form as people meet during walks, share errands, and participate in collective solutions to mobility challenges. Mike Chin observes similar patterns in Chicago. Colleagues and neighbors collaborate on delivery networks, sharing bicycles, carts, and information. Communities develop resilience and creativity under pressure, learning to solve logistical problems quickly. The disappearance of cars has forced citizens to innovate, creating systems that prioritize human needs, sustainability, and cooperation. Social media reflects this evolving reality. Posts highlight creative adaptations, community collaboration, and the growing human-centered urban culture. Citizens celebrate solutions, share resources, and provide encouragement to those struggling with new routines. Viral videos show families walking together, bicycles loaded with groceries, and pop-up markets replacing parking lots. The national conversation begins to focus on long-term possibilities rather than short-term disruption. Economic impacts continue to shift. Car-dependent industries face challenges, while pedestrian-oriented businesses, local retail, and bicycle services thrive. Entrepreneurs pivot quickly, offering solutions for mobility, goods delivery, and community needs. The carless cities are testing new economic models based on cooperation, adaptability, and human-scale interactions. Citizens begin to see opportunities for innovation that were previously hidden behind traffic congestion. Evening brings reflection. Emma walks home, observing streets filled with children playing, neighbors sharing resources, and local businesses thriving. The city is quieter, cleaner, and more human-centered than it was just 4 days ago. Daily life has adapted to the absence of cars, and citizens are discovering benefits they never imagined. The challenges have revealed hidden strengths, creativity, and resilience in communities. David Kim in Los Angeles sees similar transformations. The city has become more vibrant, healthier, and safer. People are walking and cycling more, and businesses are thriving on foot traffic. Citizens begin imagining permanent changes. Streets redesigned for human use, increased public spaces, and neighborhoods prioritizing connection over speed. The disappearance of cars has forced cities to explore alternatives, revealing possibilities for a more sustainable and connected urban life. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the growing sense of community. Neighborhoods are interconnected, volunteer networks support delivery and transportation, and citizens take on responsibilities previously managed by cars. The sudden absence of vehicles has sparked creativity, strengthened social bonds, and forced people to reconsider priorities. Communities are learning to thrive without cars, discovering resilience, adaptability, and interdependence. Nightfall brings calm and reflection across the country. The streets are quieter, safer, and filled with human activity rather than engines and horns. Citizens begin appreciating the benefits of a carless environment: cleaner air, improved health, safer neighborhoods, and stronger community ties. The fourth day demonstrates that human adaptation is not only possible but also transformative, allowing cities to thrive in unexpected ways. The first 4 days without cars reveal profound changes. While initial disruption created logistical challenges, communities are finding new rhythms, neighbors are collaborating, and citizens are discovering the advantages of human-centered urban life. Streets no longer belong to vehicles, they belong to people. Life without cars is testing society, but it is also fostering innovation, connection, and sustainable practices. By the end of the fourth day, a new pattern emerges. Communities stabilize, resources are shared, and citizens develop confidence in navigating the carless world. Urban life is changing rapidly with long-term implications for mobility, social interaction, and city planning. Humans are not just surviving, they are actively shaping the future of their cities. The fifth morning without cars begins with a sense of cautious confidence in many cities. For Emma Rodriguez, Brooklyn streets have started to develop a rhythm. Walking groups have become organized, shared bicycles are abundant, and community members have learned to navigate the city with a sense of purpose. Though the initial chaos has subsided, the city is still adjusting to life without vehicles. Emma leaves her apartment at 7 a.m., carrying a small bag with essentials. She notices children walking safely to school alongside parents, neighbors sharing bicycles, and volunteers coordinating delivery routes for groceries and packages. Streets are quieter and air quality is noticeably better. People are beginning to appreciate the benefits of a slower, more human-centered urban life. In Chicago, Mike Chin begins his 5-mile walk to work with a sense of routine. Walking convoys have become a common sight, and neighborhoods are repurposing public spaces. Streets once dominated by vehicles now host pop-up markets, exercise areas, and gathering spots for local communities. Citizens are discovering a new sense of ownership over their streets, appreciating the opportunities to interact with neighbors and engage in community activities. Public transportation systems continue to operate at maximum capacity. Subway cars are overcrowded, buses run extended schedules, and temporary shuttles fill in gaps. Communities supplement these systems with walking convoys, shared bicycles, and volunteer-run transportation networks. Citizens are learning to coordinate their schedules and resources, fostering collaboration and interdependence that was previously unseen in a car-centric society. Emma arrives at her cafe, noticing that it has become a hub for local communication. Patrons discuss commuting tips, community initiatives, and ways to support local businesses. Conversations are richer and more personal, reflecting the slower pace of life and the absence of vehicle noise. Friendships form more easily as people meet while walking, sharing errands, and engaging in collective problem-solving. The city is developing a new social fabric centered on human interaction. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles to work, observing neighborhoods adapting creatively. Streets are filled with pedestrians, cyclists, and temporary markets. Local businesses thrive on increased foot traffic, while residents participate in community-led initiatives to maintain safety and order. Citizens begin imagining streets redesigned for people, with open spaces for gathering, exercise, and social interaction. The carless environment has sparked a re-evaluation of urban life. Environmental benefits are undeniable. Air quality remains dramatically improved, noise pollution has dropped significantly, and residents report better physical and mental health. Medical professionals note fewer respiratory issues, decreased stress levels, and improved sleep quality. Children play outside more safely, and the natural sounds of urban environments, birds, wind, and human activity, replace the constant hum of engines. Citizens are becoming increasingly aware of the positive effects of a car-free city. In Miami, Patricia Williams manages household logistics with growing confidence. Walking school buses, shared bicycles, and community delivery networks have become efficient and reliable. Neighbors communicate regularly to coordinate schedules, ensuring essential trips are completed safely and efficiently. The disappearance of cars has fostered stronger community bonds, increased trust, and a sense of empowerment among residents. By mid-morning, local governments continue to adapt to the new reality. Police patrols on bicycles and scooters maintain safety, fire departments experiment with compact mobile units, and city planners hold discussions about long-term urban transformations. Streets are being reconsidered as public spaces designed for people rather than vehicles, with increased pedestrian zones, bicycle lanes, and community areas. The focus shifts from convenience and speed to safety, sustainability, and human connection. Emma notices cultural shifts in her cafe. Patrons linger longer, exchange ideas, and discuss ways to improve daily life without cars. The slower pace allows for deeper conversations and stronger community ties. People form friendships during walks, shared errands, and bicycle commutes. The city, once dominated by traffic and isolation, is becoming more interconnected, cooperative, and socially vibrant. Mike Chin observes similar changes in Chicago. Colleagues and neighbors collaborate to maintain delivery networks, share bicycles and carts, and coordinate walking convoys. Communities are developing resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills in real time. Citizens are discovering the advantages of cooperation and the value of human-centered urban planning. Life without cars is challenging, but it is fostering innovation and stronger social bonds. Social media reflects the evolving urban culture. Posts showcase families walking together, bicycles transporting goods, and neighborhoods organizing community activities. Citizens share advice, celebrate successes, and encourage others to adapt. Viral content highlights creative solutions and the benefits of a quieter, cleaner, and safer environment. The national conversation shifts from panic to collaboration, innovation, and community engagement. Economic impacts continue to evolve. Industries reliant on cars face challenges, while local retail, pedestrian-focused businesses, and bicycle services thrive. Entrepreneurs pivot rapidly, offering solutions for goods, mobility, and services in a carless city. Communities experiment with alternative delivery methods, cooperative shopping, and pop-up markets. The disappearance of cars encourages innovation and fosters a local economy built on resilience, sustainability, and human interaction. Evening brings reflection. Emma walks home through streets filled with children, pedestrians, and cyclists. Neighborhoods are lively, safe, and vibrant. Businesses have adapted to the new reality, and citizens are developing routines that allow them to navigate efficiently without vehicles. Streets are cleaner, quieter, and more human-centered, revealing the long-term potential of urban life without cars. David Kim observes similar transformations in Los Angeles. Cycling and walking have increased dramatically, and neighborhoods are thriving. Streets are repurposed as public spaces for recreation, markets, and social interaction. Citizens begin imagining permanent changes, considering a future where cars are unnecessary or greatly reduced. The disappearance of vehicles has sparked a reconsideration of mobility, urban planning, and community priorities. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the growing sense of community. Volunteer networks support deliveries, neighborhoods coordinate schedules, and citizens assume responsibilities previously managed by cars. The absence of vehicles encourages creativity, strengthens social bonds, and redefines urban priorities. Communities discover resilience and adaptability, learning to thrive in a human-centered environment. Nightfall brings a sense of calm across cities. Streets, once dominated by engines and horns, are now quiet but alive with human activity. Conversations, footsteps, and laughter replace noise pollution. Citizens begin appreciating the benefits of a carless environment: cleaner air, safer streets, stronger communities, and improved well-being. The fifth day demonstrates that adaptation is not only possible but transformative, fostering innovation, collaboration, and sustainable urban life. The first 5 days without cars reveal profound changes. Initial disruption challenged citizens, but communities have found new rhythms, resources are shared, and people are discovering advantages of life without vehicles. Streets no longer belong to cars, they belong to people. Human creativity, resilience, and collaboration are shaping a new urban reality. By the end of the fifth day, patterns have solidified. Communities coordinate transportation, share resources, and navigate urban life efficiently. Citizens begin to imagine long-term implications for mobility, social interaction, and city planning. Humans are thriving without cars, actively shaping a future of sustainable, connected, and human-centered cities. In San Francisco, the iconic Golden Gate Bridge is unusually silent. The usual river of cars that stretched across the span is gone, leaving only pedestrians, cyclists, and a few emergency vehicles navigating the lanes. Tourists cautiously step onto the bridge, capturing photos of the unprecedented emptiness. Street performers take advantage of the space, setting up impromptu shows in areas that were once traffic lanes. Meanwhile, Emma Rodriguez prepares for her shift at the Brooklyn Cafe. Today feels different. There is a subtle energy in the air, a mixture of anticipation and excitement. Word has spread about neighborhood initiatives to improve pedestrian safety, organize community transport, and encourage local businesses to embrace foot traffic. Emma notices a renewed sense of pride in the city she thought she knew. In Chicago, Mike Chen walks past empty parking lots that have become playgrounds and pop-up gardens. Residents are creatively using the spaces left behind by cars. Urban farmers cultivate small plots, fitness instructors hold outdoor classes, and children play safely in streets once dominated by engines. Mike feels a strange sense of optimism amid the chaos. The city is evolving and he is witnessing the birth of a new urban culture. Public transportation continues to face strain, but innovation flourishes. Subways and buses are supplemented by volunteer-run shuttles, cargo bikes, and community walking convoys. People coordinate schedules and routes, reducing congestion and maximizing efficiency. Citizens are learning to navigate their cities collaboratively, sharing resources and helping those who cannot walk or bike long distances. The disappearance of cars has forced a new level of cooperation. Emma arrives at the cafe and immediately notices the changes in atmosphere. Patrons linger longer, engaging in discussions about alternative commuting strategies, shared resources, and community initiatives. The cafe has become a hub for exchanging information, connecting people, and brainstorming solutions. Life without cars has slowed the pace, allowing citizens to interact more meaningfully. Relationships deepen as neighbors meet during walks, errands, and bicycle trips. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles along streets that have transformed into vibrant community spaces. Sidewalks are wider, temporary pedestrian zones allow outdoor markets, and families enjoy safer environments for children to play. Local businesses thrive on increased foot traffic, and residents feel more connected to their neighborhoods. The city, once defined by congestion and car dependency, is being reimagined in real time. Environmental benefits continue to grow. Cities report record low pollution levels, reduced noise, and measurable improvements in residents' physical and mental health. Hospitals notice fewer cases of respiratory distress, lower stress, and healthier patients. Children play outside more frequently, breathing deeply as they explore urban environments that were once unsafe due to heavy traffic. Citizens increasingly value the tangible benefits of a carless world. In Miami, Patricia Williams has organized neighborhood walking buses for children and shared bicycle networks for adults. Coordinating errands and school routes requires careful planning, but families adapt quickly. The community becomes a support system, sharing schedules, safety tips, and resources. The disappearance of cars has strengthened social ties, built trust, and created resilience in ways unimaginable before. By mid-morning, city officials continue to experiment with new strategies. Police patrol on bicycles, emergency services deploy compact units, and urban planners discuss long-term transformations. Streets are reimagined for people rather than vehicles. Wider sidewalks, dedicated bicycle lanes, public spaces, and community gathering areas. The focus shifts from efficiency and speed to human interaction, sustainability, and safety. Emma observes cultural shifts in the cafe. Conversations revolve around local initiatives, alternative transportation, and collective problem-solving. People share advice on navigating urban life without vehicles, discuss community events, and support local businesses. The slower pace fosters meaningful interactions, helping neighbors build trust and form friendships. Streets no longer function as transit corridors. They become spaces for connection, creativity, and collaboration. Mike Chin notices similar dynamics in Chicago. Residents collaborate to maintain delivery networks, coordinate walking convoys, and share bicycles and carts. Communities display resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness. Life without cars is challenging, but citizens adapt quickly, learning to cooperate and prioritize human-centered solutions. The disappearance of vehicles sparks innovation, strengthens social bonds, and fosters a sense of collective responsibility. Social media reflects this evolution. Posts highlight families walking together, bicycles transporting goods, community markets, and cooperative neighborhood initiatives. Citizens share tips, celebrate successes, and inspire others to adapt creatively. The national conversation moves from panic to constructive dialogue, innovation, and community engagement. Viral posts inspire cities across the country to experiment with similar approaches. Economic impacts continue to shift. Industries reliant on cars experience setbacks, while pedestrian-oriented businesses, local retail, and bicycle services thrive. Entrepreneurs adapt, offering solutions for mobility, goods delivery, and community needs. The carless environment forces citizens to rethink urban economics, encouraging innovation and fostering localized economies built on resilience and collaboration. Evening brings reflection across the country. Streets are quieter, safer, and more vibrant. Citizens adapt to new routines, finding opportunities for connection and creativity in public spaces. Children play freely, neighborhoods collaborate, and businesses thrive on foot traffic. Streets, once dominated by cars, belong to people, and the human-centered urban environment begins to take shape. Emma walks home, observing streets filled with neighbors, cyclists, and community events. The absence of vehicles has fostered innovation, cooperation, and social cohesion. Citizens discover that life without cars is not only possible but also beneficial, revealing opportunities for healthier, safer, and more connected communities. David Kim sees similar transformations in Los Angeles. Streets thrive with walking, cycling, and community activities. Businesses adapt, families explore public spaces, and residents feel a renewed sense of pride in their neighborhoods. The city begins imagining permanent changes, emphasizing sustainability, safety, and human connection. Citizens start to question the necessity of cars, envisioning a future that prioritizes people over vehicles. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the progress. Neighborhoods coordinate volunteer delivery networks, residents share resources, and communities assume responsibilities formerly managed by cars. The absence of vehicles fosters resilience, creativity, and strengthens social bonds. Citizens adapt quickly, learning to thrive in a human-centered urban environment. Night falls, leaving streets quiet yet vibrant with human activity. Conversations, laughter, and footsteps replace engine noise. Citizens appreciate the benefits of a carless society: cleaner air, safer streets, stronger communities, and improved well-being. The seventh day demonstrates the transformative potential of removing vehicles from urban life, emphasizing adaptation, innovation, and human-centered planning. The first week without cars reveals profound changes. Disruption challenges society, but communities develop new rhythms, collaborate effectively, and embrace opportunities for connection. Streets no longer belong to vehicles, they belong to people. Citizens thrive, adapt, and imagine a sustainable, human-centered urban future. By the end of the seventh day, cities are stabilizing, communities coordinate efficiently, and humans are shaping the future of urban life without cars. In Seattle, the morning mist rises over empty highways. The city's famous waterfront, usually choked with cars, is now filled with pedestrians, cyclists, and street performers. Small groups of neighbors gather along the piers, sharing coffee and conversation while observing the unusual calm. The disappearance of cars has transformed public spaces into community hubs, sparking creativity and interaction. Miles away, Emma Rodriguez walks toward the cafe, noticing that the usual sidewalks are now dotted with spontaneous seating areas, street art, and pop-up stands selling breakfast items and handmade goods. Life has slowed, but in a way that feels deliberate and human. People are noticing details of their neighborhoods they once ignored: trees, murals, and even the smiles of strangers. The city feels like a canvas for collective adaptation. In Chicago, Mike Chin witnesses the emergence of community-run transportation hubs. Bicycle rental stations, walking convoys, and volunteer cart systems have become integral parts of daily life. Residents plan their routes carefully, coordinating with neighbors to ensure efficiency. Streets that were once dominated by cars have been repurposed for markets, playgrounds, and urban gardens. Citizens are reclaiming their environment, discovering unexpected benefits in mobility without vehicles. Public transportation remains vital but strained. Subway cars are packed, buses operate continuously, and temporary shuttles fill key gaps. Communities improvise, coordinating schedules for walking convoys and shared bikes. Citizens have developed a heightened awareness of urban logistics, learning to cooperate and prioritize collective needs. The disappearance of cars has forced people to rethink the organization of their cities, revealing the power of collaboration. Emma arrives at the cafe, where conversations buzz with creativity and resourcefulness. Patrons discuss solutions for commuting, neighborhood initiatives, and innovative business strategies. The absence of vehicles has created space for meaningful human interaction. Longtime acquaintances meet for the first time, forming connections while walking together or sharing errands. Streets, once channels for solitary commuting, are now arenas for community building and cooperation. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles along streets that have transformed dramatically. Neighborhoods host outdoor fitness classes, markets, and cultural performances. Local businesses thrive on pedestrian traffic, while residents embrace shared responsibilities for community safety and logistics. The absence of cars has led citizens to imagine long-term changes: permanent pedestrian zones, bike-friendly streets, and public spaces designed for interaction rather than congestion. Environmental benefits continue to flourish. Air quality is better than it has been in decades, noise pollution has dropped, and residents report improved mental and physical health. Hospitals notice fewer respiratory issues, and citizens describe a sense of calm they had not felt in years. Children play outside more freely, breathing deeply and engaging with their neighborhoods. The tangible benefits of a carless city are undeniable: fostering a growing appreciation for sustainable urban living. In Miami, Patricia Williams has refined neighborhood logistics. Walking school buses operate smoothly, shared bicycles facilitate errands, and volunteer networks support those unable to travel far. Families adapt to a rhythm that emphasizes collaboration, trust, and shared responsibility. The disappearance of cars has strengthened social bonds, increased resilience, and empowered communities to function efficiently without traditional infrastructure. By mid-morning, local governments continue experimenting with solutions. Police patrol by bicycle, emergency services deploy compact units, and urban planners envision long-term transformations. Streets are being redesigned for people rather than vehicles, prioritizing safety, public space, and human interaction. Sidewalks are widened, bike lanes expanded, and plazas created where cars once ruled. Citizens witness the evolution of their cities in real time. Emma observes subtle cultural changes in the cafe. Patrons linger, share advice, and discuss strategies for navigating a carless city. Community ties strengthen, friendships form, and neighbors collaborate in ways previously unimaginable. Life without cars fosters creativity, human connection, and problem-solving, transforming streets into shared spaces for interaction, play, and commerce. Mike Chin sees similar developments in Chicago. Residents coordinate delivery systems, maintain walking convoys, and share bicycles and carts. Communities display resilience and ingenuity, adapting rapidly to the new urban reality. Citizens learn to cooperate, problem-solve, and embrace opportunities for innovation. Life without cars challenges conventional routines but strengthens social cohesion and community identity. Social media reflects these ongoing changes. Posts showcase creative adaptations, cooperative networks, and vibrant community life. Viral content highlights families walking together, bicycles carrying goods, and neighborhoods hosting markets and public events. Citizens share tips, celebrate accomplishments, and inspire others to innovate. The national dialogue shifts from disruption to constructive engagement, emphasizing collaboration and problem-solving. Economic effects continue to manifest. Industries reliant on cars face difficulties, while pedestrian-oriented businesses, local retail, and bicycle services thrive. Entrepreneurs adapt to new demands, offering solutions for mobility, goods delivery, and community interaction. The carless environment fosters innovation and resilience, revealing economic opportunities in human-centered urban life. Communities discover new models for commerce and transportation, emphasizing sustainability and cooperation. Evening brings reflection. Emma walks home through streets alive with children playing, neighbors socializing, and local businesses thriving. Life without cars has slowed the pace, but strengthened connections and revealed new opportunities. The city feels safer, cleaner, and more human-centered. Citizens adapt to their new reality, learning to navigate, collaborate, and innovate while enjoying unexpected benefits of a carless environment. David Kim observes similar patterns in Los Angeles. Streets are full of activity with walking, cycling, and public events replacing vehicles. Neighborhoods are vibrant, businesses adapt, and citizens embrace creative solutions. The absence of cars has sparked reimagining of urban spaces, revealing possibilities for long-term pedestrian-friendly infrastructure and human-centered city planning. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on community resilience. Neighborhoods coordinate deliveries, volunteer networks support mobility, and residents embrace shared responsibilities. The disappearance of cars has fostered cooperation, strengthened social bonds, and redefined urban priorities. Citizens adapt rapidly, discovering innovation, creativity, and new forms of collaboration. Life without vehicles is challenging but transformative. Nightfall brings calm and reflection across cities. Streets, once dominated by engines, are now vibrant with human activity. Footsteps, conversation, laughter. Citizens notice cleaner air, safer environments, stronger communities, and improved well-being. The eighth day demonstrates the transformative potential of a carless society, emphasizing adaptation, innovation, and human-centered urban life. The first 8 days reveal profound changes. Initial disruption challenges citizens, but communities develop new rhythms, collaborate efficiently, and embrace opportunities for connection. Streets belong to people, not vehicles. Human resilience, creativity, and cooperation shape a new urban reality. By the end of the 8th day, neighborhoods are stabilizing, communities coordinate effectively, and humans are actively reshaping cities to be sustainable, vibrant, and human-centered. High above Manhattan, the city looks almost unrecognizable from the usual aerial views. Skyscrapers rise from streets that are no longer clogged with vehicles. Pedestrians, cyclists, and small community carts move in organized patterns, and parks and plazas stretch into areas that were previously parking lots and roadways. Drone footage captures families walking together, neighbors coordinating errands, and public events in spaces once dedicated to traffic. Meanwhile, Emma Rodriguez navigates her way through the increasingly pedestrian-centric streets of Brooklyn. Today, she is accompanied by a group of co-workers and friends who have formed a walking convoy to reach the cafe. The sense of shared responsibility brings a newfound joy to their morning routine. Neighbors exchange greetings, and strangers assist one another with directions or carrying groceries. Streets have transformed into human-centric spaces that facilitate connection and collaboration. In Chicago, Mike Chin walks along streets now repurposed for local markets and small business activities. Former parking lots host community gardens and playgrounds. Residents have begun to organize rotating shifts for local deliveries, bicycle maintenance, and volunteer patrols to ensure the safety of children and pedestrians. The city is adapting rapidly, demonstrating the ingenuity and resilience of its residents. Public transportation systems remain vital but challenged. Subways and buses operate at full capacity, with citizens coordinating schedules and sharing information about efficient routes. Walking convoys and bicycle networks have become essential for daily commuting. The disappearance of cars has fostered collaboration, highlighting the power of community-driven solutions to logistical challenges. People learn to communicate effectively and share resources in unprecedented ways. Emma arrives at the cafe, noticing the vibrant interactions taking place among patrons. Conversations revolve around neighborhood initiatives, innovative commuting methods, and strategies for supporting local businesses. Community engagement has surged, and people are investing more time in forming relationships and coordinating solutions. The cafe functions as a hub for exchanging information, solving problems, and fostering a culture of collaboration. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles through streets that now host open-air markets, fitness classes, and community gatherings. The city hums with life, as residents explore public spaces previously dominated by vehicles. Neighborhoods adapt creatively, forming committees to manage shared bicycles, community gardens, and walking routes. Local businesses thrive on increased pedestrian traffic. The absence of cars challenges the traditional urban model, inspiring imaginative solutions and community innovation. Environmental benefits continue to manifest. Air quality remains exceptionally high, noise pollution is minimal, and residents report better physical and mental health. Hospitals note decreases in respiratory complaints, and citizens experience reduced stress levels. Children play safely outdoors, exploring streets and parks without fear of traffic. The disappearance of vehicles has immediate and visible benefits for the environment, community well-being, and urban aesthetics. In Miami, Patricia Williams coordinates a network of walking school buses, shared bicycles, and volunteer delivery systems. Families rely on one another to manage daily logistics efficiently. Neighborhoods develop trust, cooperation, and resilience. The absence of cars has catalyzed stronger social bonds, fostering collaboration that strengthens the fabric of the community. Local events, group errands, and shared responsibilities have become routine, creating a new rhythm of life. By mid-morning, city governments continue experimenting with adaptive measures. Police patrols on bicycles maintain safety, emergency services deploy compact mobile units, and urban planners envision long-term transformations. Streets are redesigned to prioritize human movement, public spaces, and community activities. Sidewalks expand, bike lanes increase, and plazas emerge where roads once dominated. Residents observe the evolution of their cities in real time, engaging in the transformation process. Emma notices cultural changes in the cafe. Patrons linger longer, exchanging advice and sharing ideas for navigating a carless urban environment. Relationships form spontaneously as neighbors collaborate and meet during walks, errands, and bicycle commutes. Streets become spaces for social interaction, play, and creativity. Citizens embrace a slower, more human-centered pace of life, finding opportunities for connection in previously overlooked corners of the city. Mike Chin observes similar developments in Chicago. Communities coordinate bicycle networks, walking convoys, and delivery systems. Residents display ingenuity, creativity, and resilience, adapting rapidly to the carless reality. Life without vehicles encourages collaboration, strengthens social bonds, and fosters problem-solving skills. Citizens discover new ways to engage with their urban environment, redefining the possibilities of daily life. Social media showcases these ongoing transformations. Posts highlight families walking together, bicycles transporting goods, and community-driven initiatives. Viral content captures pop-up markets, local events, and cooperative neighborhood networks. Citizens share tips, celebrate accomplishments, and inspire others to innovate. The national dialogue shifts from disruption to opportunity, emphasizing collaboration, adaptation, and community resilience. Economic changes continue to take shape. Industries dependent on vehicles face challenges, while pedestrian-focused businesses, local retail, and bicycle services flourish. Entrepreneurs pivot to meet demand for human-centered solutions, offering delivery services, bicycle rentals, and pop-up markets. Communities experiment with new business models that prioritize sustainability, collaboration, and local economies. The disappearance of cars sparks innovation, revealing untapped opportunities for economic growth in human-centered urban life. Evening brings reflection across cities. Emma walks home through streets alive with children, neighbors, and business activity. Neighborhoods are vibrant, safe, and interconnected. Citizens develop routines and habits that emphasize cooperation, problem-solving, and shared responsibility. Streets are cleaner, quieter, and more human-centered. Life without cars challenges traditional routines but fosters creativity, connection, and a stronger sense of community. David Kim witnesses similar transformations in Los Angeles. Walking and cycling dominate streets, neighborhood events thrive, and local businesses prosper. Communities embrace new ways to interact, organize, and collaborate. Citizens begin imagining permanent urban transformations, such as expanded pedestrian zones, bike-friendly infrastructure, and public spaces designed for social interaction rather than traffic. The absence of vehicles fosters innovation, adaptability, and long-term urban planning. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on the resilience of her community. Residents coordinate delivery networks, volunteer for shared responsibilities, and strengthen social connections. The disappearance of vehicles inspires creativity, problem-solving, and collaboration. Citizens adapt quickly, discovering the benefits of human-centered urban life. Life without cars, though challenging, strengthens neighborhoods and cultivates a sense of collective achievement. Nightfall blankets the cities, leaving streets quiet yet vibrant with human activity. Footsteps, conversation, and laughter replace the constant hum of engines. Citizens experience cleaner air, safer streets, stronger communities, and improved mental and physical well-being. The ninth day illustrates the transformative potential of a carless society, emphasizing adaptation, innovation, and human-centered urban life. The first 9 days reveal profound societal changes. Initial disruption tested citizens, but communities adapt, coordinate efficiently, and embrace new forms of collaboration. Streets belong to people rather than vehicles. Human creativity, resilience, and cooperation shape urban life in ways previously unimaginable. By the end of the 9th day, cities are stabilizing, communities thrive, and citizens actively reshape their urban environment for a sustainable, human-centered future. The 10th day dawns like a quiet celebration across American cities. In New York, people gather in streets that have become communal spaces. Families picnic where traffic once roared, musicians perform on intersections, and children ride bicycles safely through avenues that were formerly highways. The absence of cars has revealed the human potential of urban landscapes. Places once dominated by vehicles are now alive with community energy. Emma Rodriguez steps outside her Brooklyn apartment, breathing in the crisp, clean morning air. She notices familiar faces along her walking route. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers, greeting each other warmly. Emma feels a deep sense of belonging and pride in her city. Today, the streets feel fully reclaimed by people, not vehicles, and the transformation is almost tangible. In Chicago, Mike Chen walks through his neighborhood observing permanent changes taking shape. Pop-up markets have become regular fixtures, bicycle lanes are clearly marked, and community gardens flourish where parking lots once existed. Residents now approach daily routines with confidence, coordination, and creativity. Life without cars has sparked innovation in transportation, business, and urban planning, revealing the resilience of communities. Public transportation has stabilized, aided by the collaborative efforts of citizens. Walking convoys, bicycle networks, and volunteer-run services ensure everyone can navigate the city efficiently. People have learned to anticipate needs, share resources, and communicate effectively. The initial chaos has given way to organized human-centered solutions, and cities are beginning to function seamlessly without vehicles. Emma arrives at the cafe, which has evolved into a central hub for information and community engagement. Patrons discuss neighborhood events, solutions for sustainable transportation, and ways to support local businesses. The slower pace allows conversations to deepen and relationships to grow. Community ties strengthen, and people increasingly prioritize collaboration and problem-solving over individual convenience. Streets, once mere transit corridors, have become shared spaces for connection, commerce, and creativity. In Los Angeles, David Kim cycles along vibrant streets filled with families, local businesses, and recreational activities. Neighborhoods have fully adapted, with permanent bicycle infrastructure, pedestrian-friendly zones, and public spaces designed for social interaction. The city hums with activity, energy, and optimism. Residents embrace the human-centered transformation, recognizing the long-term benefits for quality of life, environmental sustainability, and urban culture. Environmental improvements remain pronounced. Air quality is at record highs, noise pollution is minimal, and citizens report better mental and physical health. Hospitals observe fewer respiratory issues, reduced stress, and healthier communities. Children play outdoors freely, exploring urban spaces without fear of traffic. The disappearance of cars has had lasting environmental, social, and cultural impacts, reshaping how urban life functions. In Miami, Patricia Williams reflects on her community's adaptation. Walking school buses, bicycle sharing programs, and volunteer delivery systems operate smoothly. Families navigate daily routines with confidence, and neighborhoods have developed strong social bonds. The absence of cars has fostered resilience, creativity, and collective responsibility. Community engagement has reached new heights, with residents organizing local events, educational programs, and support networks. By mid-morning, city governments and urban planners recognize that this transformation is not temporary, it is a model for the future. Streets are permanently redesigned for people rather than vehicles. Parks, plazas, and pedestrian zones are integrated into neighborhoods, emphasizing safety, connection, and sustainability. Communities actively participate in shaping urban design, blending citizen input with professional planning to create spaces that reflect human needs. Emma notices cultural shifts in the cafe. Patrons linger, sharing ideas for improving neighborhood life and collaborating on community projects. New friendships have formed through walking convoys, shared errands, and volunteer initiatives. Citizens embrace the slower, more human-centered pace of life, finding joy in connection, creativity, and shared responsibility. Streets have become arenas for social interaction, cultural expression, and civic engagement. Mike Chin observes Chicago's transformation. Residents coordinate communal delivery systems, volunteer patrols, and walking convoys efficiently. Neighborhoods thrive on collaboration and ingenuity, solving problems that once seemed impossible in a car-dependent world. Life without vehicles has strengthened social cohesion, fostered innovation, and reshaped the fabric of urban communities. Citizens are actively participating in shaping a more sustainable, equitable, and human-centered society. Social media reflects these changes nationwide. Posts showcase neighborhoods thriving without cars, families walking together, bicycles transporting goods, and vibrant community events. Viral content highlights successful adaptations and inspires other cities to experiment with similar approaches. The narrative shifts from panic and disruption to optimism, innovation, and collective empowerment. Citizens are discovering the benefits of shared responsibility, cooperation, and human-centered urban planning. Economic landscapes continue to evolve. Industries dependent on cars experience challenges, while pedestrian-focused businesses, local retail, and bicycle services flourish. Entrepreneurs pivot to meet new demands, creating innovative solutions for transportation, goods delivery, and community engagement. Communities experiment with alternative business models emphasizing sustainability, resilience, and local cooperation. Life without vehicles fosters creativity, opportunity, and economic adaptability. Evening brings reflection across the nation. Emma walks home through streets alive with children, neighbors, and local events. Neighborhoods are vibrant, safe, and interconnected. Citizens have developed habits that emphasize cooperation, innovation, and shared responsibility. Streets are cleaner, quieter, and more human-centered than ever before. Life without cars, once unimaginable, has become a source of pride, creativity, and connection. David Kim in Los Angeles observes thriving streets filled with walking, cycling, and community gatherings. Neighborhoods have embraced new patterns, and local businesses benefit from pedestrian traffic. Citizens imagine permanent urban transformations, expanded pedestrian zones, accessible public spaces, and infrastructure prioritizing people over vehicles. The city, once dominated by congestion, is now a model of human-centered design and community resilience. In Boston, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez reflects on community adaptation and growth. Residents coordinate volunteer networks, share resources, and strengthen social ties. Life without vehicles has fostered innovation, cooperation, and civic engagement. Neighborhoods are more resilient, connected, and adaptive. Citizens embrace the challenges and opportunities of a carless society, discovering the benefits of collaboration and shared responsibility. Nightfall settles across cities. Streets, once dominated by engines, are now alive with footsteps, laughter, and conversation. Air is clean, neighborhoods are safe, and communities thrive. Citizens experience improved mental and physical well-being, stronger social bonds, and a deeper appreciation for their urban environment. The 10th day demonstrates the transformative power of removing vehicles, emphasizing human resilience, creativity, and collective action. The first 10 days without cars have revealed a profound shift. Initial disruption challenged citizens, but communities have adapted, coordinated, and embraced opportunities for innovation and connection. Streets belong to people rather than vehicles. Human creativity, cooperation, and resilience have reshaped urban life. By the end of the 10th day, cities have stabilized, communities thrive, and humans actively participate in designing a sustainable, vibrant, and human-centered urban future. The disappearance of cars has transformed American cities in ways that no legislation, policy, or initiative could have achieved in decades. Citizens now walk, cycle, and collaborate, discovering the full potential of their urban environment. Life has slowed, but it has also deepened. Communities are stronger, social bonds are firmer, and the future feels full of possibility. As Emma walks home one last time in this narrative, she pauses to watch children playing in streets once dominated by cars. She smiles, realizing that a new chapter in urban life has begun, a chapter defined not by vehicles but by people, creativity, and community. Streets are no longer conduits for transit alone. They are spaces of life, interaction, and transformation. The carless cities stand as a testament to human resilience, innovation, and adaptability. Citizens have embraced challenges, collaborated effectively, and created communities that are cleaner, safer, and more connected. The story of 10 days without cars is not just about the disappearance of vehicles. It is about the rediscovery of human potential, the power of cooperation, and the possibility of cities designed for people, not machines.